Previously on City of Angels.
This is a great hospital in a great city, and with Mr. Harris's and County Supervisor O'Malley's help, we're going to make it even greater.
I can't have this surgery, Dr. Price.
My daughter Carolyn's been in jail for 7 months. Cause of drugs. With 5 more to go.
Mrs. Brewer, you don't have 5 months. You don't have 5 days.
Dr. Turner, if I hadn't gotten that woman into surgery when I did, she'd be dead.
She'd be dead if I was 30 seconds further away.
I don't think it's fair to imply that I was negligent or irresponsible.
In spite of the fact that you were nearly both.
If, you and I could just take a little photo together. Okay. Oh, don't let that neck knock.
You're saying I picked him to do surgery today because he's white?
Maybe you're showing him, you're not like some others around here who make him out to be a stupid-ass white boy.
Maybe I'm showing you you're not the doctor you think you are yet. I didn't exactly leave you at the altar, Lillian.
3 days before the wedding?
I was having second thoughts.
It was a long time ago. We've all moved on.
Beaver's never supposed to leave your side, Doctor.
Damn thing hasn't let up since dawn. 4 admissions and 6 consults.
You on call tonight?
Unless you're gonna cover for me.
Let me think it over. Eminem in 5. Where's your tie, Weiss? You ready to present?
Standard drill, right?
Let's hope so.
No big deal.
Is that Max Fleischman? I thought he died 3 years ago.
Looks like he did.
Dr. Weiss.
I'm presenting a complication of renal failure occurring 10 days after repair of a ruptured abdominal aortic aneurysm.
To what do you attribute the complication?
Nature of disease. The patient, Hattie Brewer, is a 68-year-old diabetic female who presented to the ER with severe abdominal pain. CT scan was performed and showed a leaking 10-centimeter aneurysm. She underwent successful operative resection, but her creatinine rose steadily in the early post-op period, and she required 3 days of hemodialysis.
And why is it nature of disease?
Well, there's certainly underlying renal compromise in an elderly diabetic.
Like every vascular patient, but they don't all end up needing dialysis.
I guess Dr. Irvin doesn't buy your assessment, Dr. Weiss.
Well, she was hypotensive. Her pressure dropped into the low 60s.
And why was that?
Part of the disease process.
That's a pathetic hypothesis. What was the interval between the diagnosis and the skin incision?
About 2 hours.
In 2 hours, I could have done the whole operation twice.
I didn't sufficiently recognize the clinical signs.
So you stood around and waited until she ruptured?
We couldn't get a hold of the attendant.
Why don't we concentrate on the medical aspects here?
That's a breach of coverage. Who was the attending?
I was.
So the acting chief of surgery wasn't available for a case?
No, I didn't call him in time.
Call him. He's paid to be there. Although it does go to show you, a vascular emergency managed by a general surgeon is a mortality in the making.
Wait a minute. I had to cover the case because the vascular surgeon on call wasn't available. The vascular surgeon was you.
That's a lie. If I wasn't here, I was legitimately signed out.
To a guy who didn't know it and didn't answer his page. Now, it is correct that this resident failed to recognize the gravity of the clinical circumstances, and he undertook an operation well beyond his technical abilities. But none of that would have happened if you were available when you were supposed to be.
That's libel. That's slander. The fact that somebody anoints you acting chief doesn't give you the right to grotesquely mishandle a case, or mismanage a department, or impugn the integrity of world-class surgeons who donate their time in exchange for a slave's wage.
Mr. Acting Chief, may I comment that I performed the first successful repair of an abdominal aneurysm in this hospital in August of 1957.
So that's how he gets his fiber.
Jaco discovered that St. Joseph's Fresno didn't respond to their anesthetic fatalities, they were shut down in the middle of their survey. This anesthesia laboratory will spare us the same fate.
St. Joseph's must have had an inordinate number of deaths.
They'd had 2 in 3 years. We've had 3 in the last 18 months. And you should explain to the supervisors that this laboratory will not only get us out of hot water with Jaco, but will also save lives and thus spare lawsuits, in which case you can argue it comes cheap.
Transportation, please report to the hospital.
Impressive. Very thorough. I'll bring this with me tomorrow, and if the board is amenable, I'll see to you getting your anesthesia laboratory.
Well, what if they're not amenable?
Then we'll cross that bridge.
Dr. Harper, please dial attention.
Are your departments prepared for tomorrow's fire drill?
Tomorrow? I thought we scheduled it next Monday.
No. The nursing supervisors have a conference next Monday in Bakersfield. I circulated a memo with the schedule change.
It never got to me, and my departmental fire safety classes are scheduled for later this week.
We'll reschedule.
That's very kind.
Okay, now, excuse me, I have an appointment.
Before you go.
I know, anesthesia laboratory. I'll give it my best effort.
You've got an appointment, Ron Harris. Or are you too busy making time with the ladies?
Emerald, this is
Dr. Lillian Price. I'm delighted to meet you, Emerald Jordan.
The lawyer? I've seen you on TV.
Dr. Gilbert, please report.
Welcome to Angels of Mercy, Doctor.
How can I help you, Emerald?
I've been retained by your former medical director.
Frank Hollister is suing?
Wrongful termination. He's asking $5 million.
The man was drunk as a skunk. He got caught sharing a Kodak moment with a corpse.
Well, the way it was explained to me, Frank told Miss Faith if she was camera shy to speak right up. Come on, Ronnie, tell me it's not funny.
No, this is not funny. No, not funny at all.
Well, staring down the barrel of a gun never is. Where was Hollister's formal letter specifying charges and reasons for the termination?
We're trying to keep it quiet.
And why was he not given the opportunity to retain counsel and respond to charges?
If there had been charges, he'd be responding to a grand jury.
No letter, no chance to respond. It's a clear violation of due process, Ron. I'll take this to court for $5 million easy.
And we'll air the facts and ruin his reputation.
Well, that won't serve you, Ron. He was your hire. And besides, you want to buy yourself another multi-million-dollar lawsuit from Levon Faith's family, huh? If this goes public?
What'll he settle for?
$400,000.
Outrageous. Outrageous.
Yeah, $250,000 and the slate is wiped clean. Squeaky, squeaky, squeaky. No press, no venom, and you'll never hear of Frank Hollister again.
Supervisors are meeting on the budget tomorrow. They won't have time to make a decision on this.
Then, Ron, you'd better convince them to make time. Because if I don't get a thumbs up by 4:45 tomorrow, I ring-a-ding my assistant at the courthouse and have her file the suit. After that, I call the press conference. Oops, I gotta go.
Wesley, what about these 3 in the pit?
He needs another chest x-ray, a head CT, and Dr. Simmons to sew up his scalp.
I got 2 ahead of him, Wesley.
Tangential bullet that looks like it missed everything, but let's do one more quick before he goes upstairs.
All right.
Rescue 191 en route. ETA 2 minutes.
That's another gunshot on the way.
That's what we need.
What about Mr. Hamilton?
Lined up for the OR.
Doc, it pains like nothing I ever felt. I just know my ribs busted.
Yeah, 2 of them on the left side. And the CT scan shows a ruptured spleen. He needs some surgery to fix it up, Mr. Hamilton.
Please, just get on with it, Doc.
Shouldn't be long, sir.
Hey, Doc. Well, the homies are popping tonight. That banger we brought in DOA last week, his boys are gunning for payback. Don't expect any let-up, Doc.
What do we got?
John Doe, single gunshot wound to the abdomen, barely breathing.
EQ is negative and an intubation tray.
Blood's coming right now.
Lou Williams, Pre-Op Express has got the ticket to ride.
I think maybe this guy should go first.
Hang on a minute. Find out from Turner which one he wants first while I tube Mr. Gangbanger here.
Now, suck there. Not seeing a damn thing.
I think I can clean it out a little bit better.
Man, don't Z out on me yet. Hold a little with your retractor.
Dr. Williams has 2 traumas in the ER. He wants to know which one to send up next.
I can't talk to him now. Tell him to use his best judgment.
Williams, we got one hurting taxpayer over here.
What's the verdict?
He said it's up to you.
Respiratory therapist, please call attention.
Take him up.
Are you sure about that?
Mr. Hamilton has peritonitis.
And this man is in shock.
Then hang another unit, nurse. Give my brother here some time to reflect on his lifestyle decisions.
Okay, Sandra, that old incision looks like it's healing up pretty nicely. Say we get you back.
What's wrong?
Does that hurt?
No?
Do your legs hurt you at all?
Nope. Why do you ask?
Hold on a minute, okay? Just hold on.
You have to find ways to cut your operating costs. You went 6.5% over budget.
You try looking into the eyes of a child born with AIDS and telling him his treatment exceeds our cautionary budget. What do you say? Next life, try to get yourself born at Cedars?
Dr. Syfax, Dr. Price, please. I need a second opinion. The first stages of a phase 1 allergic reaction are a mild shingle-like eruption on the surface of the skin, which, if left untreated, could progress to a severe and sometimes fatal viral exanthem. Now, I suggest we take Sandra here off of steroids immediately and switch her to...
Vaseline.
What?
Vaseline, Carry lotion, Jergens, Nivea.
It's ash, doctor.
Ash.
Ash. Not viral, not fatal, just dry skin.
But...
It's a black thing.
Well, okay. That's good.
This could be fatal.
Maybe we should operate.
Oh, God, you wouldn't believe. God help us. Babies with babies.
We see a lot of that. You got any of your own?
No.
Married?
Divorced. The man I should have married got freaked out by my career goals.
Oh, the curse of the black female professional. A lot of that going around.
How about you? Are you married?
Not yet, but I'm closing in.
Dr. Ben, call 4498.
Well, it's been a pleasure meeting you, Doctor.
Lillian.
Anna. It's good to have a sister in the house.
Oh, in case you didn't hear, we're rescheduling today's fire drill.
You better pass that on, because I just got a memo confirming it.
When Dr. Foster returns and reclaims his position as chief of surgery, you can all whine to him all you like about changing the sign-out policy. Till then, I'm recirculating the current policy and sign-out so there won't be any further confusion.
I was properly signed out, and at a funeral in North Carolina, my uncle passed away.
Yeah, that raises an interesting question. I present to the jury Medical Economics Newsletter Volume 25, delivered to my office yesterday with a cover photo of our own Dr. Dan Prince at a golf tournament on the same date he says he was at that funeral.
Oh, that's great. It must be a printing error. Let me see that.
Was it the departed's wish to be buried on a golf course?
His undying love of the game?
Gentlemen, sorry to interrupt.
Has everyone met Lily, my Sergeant Medical Director?
Sit. I have 2 items of business. First, if you could circulate this memo, the fire drill has been rescheduled again. Secondly, I've just received very sad news via fax from the international surgical project that Dr. Marcus Foster was leading in Zimbabwe. It seems, during a photo safari, Dr. Foster momentarily left his group and was attacked and killed by a pack of hyenas.
What? You're kidding.
I'm serious. He was killed by hyenas.
This is no laughing matter.
Does this mean you'll be appointing Turner permanent chief?
You probably hadn't thought about it, Dan.
Yeah, Dan, body is not even cold. Probably not much of a body left.
Hyenas.
I'm sorry to break up this wild kingdom, but maybe we ought to think about contribution in Mark's memory.
We ought to think about who can best carry on his work. Now, since this is first and foremost an academic institution...
It is a clinical institution, Dan.
If you plan to challenge my candidacy, Henry, consider never in the history of Western medicine has a proctologist served as chief of surgery.
Excuse me, I am a colorectal surgeon.
Not to burst your bubble, Dr. Prince, but now that I think about it, Dr. Turner would be the natural choice.
Lillian, I'm flattered, but I've got no mind for a career as a paper-pushing flunky. 3 months is plenty for me.
That sounds like a refusal. So when would it be appropriate to submit a CV?
If you're all done mourning, I suppose immediately. Good day, gentlemen.
Well, Dan, who are you going to endorse?
No one, Dan. I'm staying neutral. You can fight it out amongst yourselves.
I'm the only funded investigator.
I represent a critical patient population.
Nothing matters but gross revenue.
You guys couldn't balance a checkbook.
Well, when we get around to talking about a rectal case, we'll ask for your opinion.
Only rectal case around here is you.
No fire drill today. Tell your department. And if you see Dr. Carlisle, will you have her inform obstetrics?
Mm-hmm.
Have you seen Dr. Carlisle? She's the last department head on my list.
No, I haven't. Don't we have inter-office mail for stuff like that?
Inter-office mail would deliver it next week, Dr. Turner. So I'm taking a little personal responsibility.
Very honorable.
Oh, but not a philosophy you share, of course.
I take a lot of personal responsibility, Lillian.
Then why the outright refusal of the chief of surgery position?
Exactly why I said I'm a surgeon. I don't want to waste my time worrying about the call schedule, or if there are enough scrub suits in the locker room, or why Dan Prince couldn't find a parking place this morning.
So you want to do what you feel like and the rest of this place be damned.
Lillian, my 3 months in the position proved I have neither the inclination nor the talent for the job.
I spot-checked your records. You're doing much better than you think.
That's great. I've got rounds.
I cannot believe how selfish you are being. That ludicrous surgeons meeting proved you're the only appropriate candidate for the job.
Except I'm not interested.
See, the problem with this place is no one's interested in anything outside their own little sphere. There are 6 weeks left before we go under a JACO microscope, Dr. Turner. I need a chief of surgery who I can work with, who cares enough to spend the time to help me turn this hospital 180 degrees. I know in your heart you love Angels of Mercy, but that means nothing unless you prove it. And now, right now, is the time to do that. Please, be part of the solution.
Nice try.
Turner did Hamilton's spinorrhaphy in 55 minutes and then followed with the X-lap on this guy.
Yeah, it's getting pick of the right night to start a war with Turner on call.
How come he needed so much blood?
Hang on.
How's it doing?
Okay. First ICU day for this John Doe GSW. BR's vital signs are stable. Good urine output. Crit's been steady at 32.
You ready to get that tube out? Tell us your name, son.
Arthur Jackson. Dr. Arthur Jackson.
You're a doctor?
I'm a medical intern in this hospital, and I was robbed and shot riding my bike home. How long was I in the ER before surgery?
About 90 minutes, doctor.
Don't doctor me. The guy you were talking about. Did he go first?
What guy?
With the spleen.
Hamilton, yeah, he went first.
You sent a stable trauma patient to the OR ahead of what you thought was a gangbanger with a gunshot.
We saved your life.
He saved my life. You made a value judgment about whose life was worth more and violated just about every principle of trauma management. I want you the hell out of my room.
Ron, you know where my heart is with Angels of Mercy, and you know I'm inclined to let you get away with murder when it comes to your budget. But this budget is a fat sow. We're not operating a mint. Oh, God.
You all right, Bobby?
Yeah, I'm just a little under the weather, that's all.
$220,000 for an anesthesia laboratory.
That's a wish list item, Mr. Chairman. What isn't, unfortunately, is the $250,000 wrongful termination claim Emerald Jordan's making on behalf of Frank Hollister.
The man's a drunken body snatcher.
Mr. Chairman, Jordan's allegation is technically not without merit. In the haste to replace Hollister, we had to circumvent certain policies.
And whose brilliant idea was that?
My intervention was on account of Hollister, Mr. Harris's hand-picked candidate, turning out to be a perfect swine. Getting him out was the only way to keep this debacle under wraps.
Jordan files at the close of business today. If we cross the anesthesia laboratory off the budget, that frees up $220,000.
Say we take that and your office renovations, Ron, and swap them for payment to Hollister.
Sounds fine, Mr. Chairman, sounds fine.
All right, absent further discussion, all in favor of the proposed disbursement? All right. You've got homework. We stand adjourned. Harvey, you look awful.
You know how hard I've been trying to stay clean.
Yes, you have been clean, haven't you?
3 years, Ed. Then one night I'm suddenly back downtown and...
Tell me what happened.
I went off the deep end. Worse than before. Last night I got stopped. This young cop shines his light on my face. Asks, what's the white powder on my nose? Then he asks what I'm doing with this known prostitute. I think the only reason he didn't haul me in is because he's Latino. He recognized my face.
Can he be trusted to keep quiet?
God, I was so... Ed, this was a sign. I made a decision last night. I'm gonna clean up. I'm going in the program.
You thought about your career, your family?
Good am I to either as a junkie. Decided I gotta go.
Good for you, Harvey. You are very brave.
Thank you, Ed. I was hoping that you could take care of any business in the press release?
Supervisor Guerrero has a disease, and we wish him well in his ongoing struggle. If the press asks, though, I assume you plan on keeping your seat on the board.
Yes, I think so.
Good. I'll deal with any recall issues that arise.
Recall?
Have you told your wife yet?
Just going home to tell her.
I'm sure she'll understand. She's been through it before. She knows what to expect.
About the rehab part, yes, but if the stuff about the whore comes out, I don't know if I will be able to keep it together.
Well, there are options that don't include throwing your life away.
Like what?
Tough it out. Cold turkey.
How long do you think that'll last before I'm back on the street risking everything again?
Do you trust me?
You're the only one I trust.
Then don't do anything for a couple of hours. Go back to your office and lock the door and try to get a little sleep. And when you wake up, I'll have a solution.
Bless you, Ed. I don't know how I can ever repay you.
That's a conversation for another time.
I'll be in my office.
I have a chore for you.
How'd it go?
All in all, fine. But on your account, not as well as hoped.
They rejected my proposal?
This process ebbs and flows, Lillian. Ebbs and flows.
Did you explain to them the consequences or tell them about St. Joe's?
I fought valiantly, and for my trouble, I was accused of being overly dramatic and reminded that our last JCO survey wasn't particularly stringent when it came to anesthesia.
JCO standards have changed dramatically in the last 3 years.
Which I mentioned, and you know what they told me? That for a fraction of the cost of your lab, other county hospitals with similar issues were sending their anesthesiologists to mandatory training programs and passing JCO just fine.
It's cheaper, yes.
Cheaper was their operative word. Lillian, this was an ebb day as is any day where the board is settling a lawsuit against the hospital. Next time, if you're willing to listen, I'll read you the tide.
Who's suing the hospital?
Your predecessor. And I believe, as a consequence, the board just decided to settle the lawsuit instead of buying your lab.
You didn't put up any fight at all, did you?
Lillian, that's uncalled for. Uncalled for.
My apologies.
Come in. Was Dr. Jackson you called me about in the OR?
Yes.
That's an example of your best judgment?
Dr. Turner, we were dealing with 3 gunshot wounds, a stab wound, and a car wreck.
It happens a lot here, Wesley. You can't handle it, find another job.
Mr. Hamilton had a ruptured spleen with free blood in the peritoneum.
A gunshot to the belly with uncontrolled hemorrhage goes first, and you know it. What's an exercise called, Doctor?
Triage.
The principles of which are algorithmic and uncontestable. Or have you not picked that up yet?
I know the rules of triage.
No, that is Dr. Jackson correct that you made a value judgment on his life under the assumption he was a gangbanger?
Dr. Turner, the man is alive and he's gonna be fine.
So what, no harm, no foul? That it, Wesley? And we'll just forget that you, let a prejudice cloud your medicine.
That's me. Hood wearing, cross burning. I'm the bad guy. String me up.
I will. Until you take responsibility for yourself.
And that goes equal for all surgical residents.
Of course it does.
Then how come Weiss damn near assassinates Hattie Brewer, and it's my boss you bust? And then when the sharks circle at M&M, you woo, toss him a life jacket.
Wesley, you got some problems here, and Weiss is not one of them.
If we're talking about prejudice and equality, then I think he is.
You've been up all night. You're tired. We'll talk later.
No. Tired's got nothing to do with it.
I'm giving you the benefit of a huge doubt. Don't press your luck. Out of here.
Oh, man, what the...
Code red drill. Repeat. Code red drill.
I said it was rescheduled through Ron Harris' office. Now, since it went up here. No, you do not need an authorized signature. You need to get off your ass and... Same to you, fatso.
Code red drill.
Lily.
Excuse me, Ben. What is this?
Lily, take it easy.
This is some kind of bad joke. Harris is trying to drive me insane, man. And you know something? It's working.
Breathe. Slow, you're gonna pass out.
I feel so stupid. So good at my job up north.
And you're good here. A closet.
What?
Brand new medical director and the acting head of surgery are in a closet.
Oh, dear. Another scandal.
Dr. Williams, Mr. Jones.
Will you please close the curtain? There is a privacy issue. And just call me George, because my name is not Jones. It's the first thing I could think of. We prefer not to give a name. Really, we're here because UCLA is a gossip mill.
Okay. George, what's the problem today?
Where to start?
Here's the plain film.
What is that?
It's a Golden Globe Award that I received 5 years ago.
How did it get inside you?
We came home, the house was being robbed, and they grabbed George and molested him.
Have you contacted the police?
We don't want the police. Does it really matter how it got there, Doctor? Can we just get it out?
Of course, absolutely. Just give me a moment. I'll need to consult a specialist, and we'll do an exam.
I've seen wine bottles and soda bottles and light bulbs, but this is by far the most prestigious.
Did he mention what he won for?
Shaft? No, I heard it was the sequel to Ben-Hur. Yeah, Bend Over.
Does anyone have a clue how to get it out?
No, if Lou doesn't know, we should call the Hollywood Foreign Press.
Did you palpate it on digital exam?
No, sir, I can't.
OR3.
Lubrifax. Operating practicoscope.
That is a very brave instrument.
Foreign body visible at 22 centimeters. Connect limb forceps.
Here it comes.
May I have the envelope, please? When I was in med school, this guy came in who had a potato shoved up there. Said he'd been in a gardening accident. This guy tried to peddle a home invasion scenario.
Don't matter what story they peddle, Doctor.
The fearless explorer himself.
Sit down. A lot of funny guys around here. Big comedians. You make joke about this guy, belittle him. Shame on you. He's a patient with a life-threatening problem. Came to us for help. How and why that thing got up there makes no difference to the fact that he was in pain. But the minute you make judgment on this guy based on prejudice, you compromise your ability to care for him the way he deserves. He deserves sympathy, understanding, and respect, not laughing and jokes. You know, the way I see it with this man, it was a privilege to have the opportunity to serve him. Happens again, I hope he trusts us enough to come back.
Turner.
How you feeling, Dr. Jackson?
Dr. Turner, this is my mother.
Pleased to meet you, ma'am.
You saved my boy.
Your boy's a strong one, ma'am.
Thank you. My husband's bringing up the car. I'll be back before work tomorrow. Okay. Bring you some soup.
See you tomorrow.
Okay.
She's worked 25 years making candy for Aunt Kathy's on Figueroa.
It's good stuff.
Yeah. 25 years, she saved every dime. My daddy, too, postal worker, so that they could send their boy to college and med school. And all that, they're wasted because some fool decides to shoot me and another fool decides I'm not worth saving.
Dr. Jackson, I have to take full responsibility for what happened to you last night. Wesley Williams asked me for advice, and I told him to use his best judgment. He's a young doctor. He made a bad call.
Yeah, he made a real bad call.
And we're all very sorry for that. In the future, I'll keep a closer eye, make sure it doesn't happen again.
Given that, I'm supposed to forgive and forget.
Given your good outcome, you might want to concentrate on getting well.
As opposed to leaving this mess of a place and filing a lawsuit.
You can do that. Sure. But my guess is you're a neighborhood kid like me. And if I'm right, you came to this place to help serve your people. Taking money from this hospital doesn't serve your people. My older brother died here. He was a good kid, good student. And one night, he caught a stray bullet. I never found out for sure, but I think he bled to death on an ER gurney waiting to be seen.
And you still want to work with this place?
That's precisely why I want to work with this place. The building can fall apart, people can sue us broke, but I will be here to ensure good medical service to folks who deserve it because my brother deserved it.
So did I.
And you got it.
No thanks to Wesley Williams.
You're right. And I need to apologize for that. I made a moral judgment on you. And because of what I thought you were, I compromised your medical care. The oath says, first, do no harm. And if you were a banger or murder or pope or president, it shouldn't have made a difference. And all I can do is promise you both it never will again. I'm truly sorry, Dr. Jackson. And to you too, Dr. Turner.
present for you, hombre. Mr. O'Malley thinks you'll take special interest in the centerfold.
Thank you, God.
Now that's a look I haven't seen on you in years.
Oh, only the worker bees are minding the hive at this time of night. Mind if I sit down for a minute?
Yeah.
I wanted to apologize for M&M yesterday. It just gets my back up when my availability or commitment are called into question.
Okay.
Good. And since I have you both, about the chief's position...
This really isn't the time, Doctor.
Now, I know, and Ben can attest, I'm not the traditional choice for chief of surgery at this hospital. Fact is, the political reality of the power structure here is that it's probably impossible for a white person to attain a position of authority regardless of qualifications.
I see.
So, Doctor, I say buck tradition and show the kind of progressive leadership this hospital needs.
So, hire you or just anyone white?
No. Lay open the CVs, weigh the publications, total up the grants, and you'll see. I'm not just the progressive choice, but the right choice.
Noted.
All right, then. Well, have a great evening. Huh?
Tell me days don't get worse than this. Lie to me.
I've never seen the sprinklers go on.
Ben.
Lillian.
I just want you to know I take full responsibility for what happened in the closet.
I didn't exactly push you away.
It was like we'd never been apart.
I know.
Are you feeling any regret? Because I'm not sure I
I
am.
don't feel any regret at all. But we do have to talk.
Oh, I know. There's an ocean of water under the bridge.
There you are. Hey. I know you're not eating.
It's just coffee.
We've got 9 o'clock reservations at Citrus.
Oh.
Up, you. He's been here so long, he thinks the swill is food. Don't let it happen to you.
I won't.
Tomorrow, Lillian.
Night, Lily.